Hi guys, welcome to another video. My name is Savin Chauke. I'm a writer, I'm a speaker, and I'm an engineer. Anyway, those three things they don't meet in any way. Um, if there's any meeting point, that will be usually if you're a writer, you'll have to speak about the things that you write about. But if you're an engineer, how do you speak about engineering? Anyway, you can actually speak about engineering because in engineering, you have to get a problem, you design a solution, and you elaborate how that actually the solution that you have get to solve the problem that you have received. So I don't think of myself that I'm actually doing something different that has never been done by anyone. Although when I was doing my in-service training, my mentor at that time told me that what type of engineer is this that write books? And I said, is this type of an engineer? And actually, I think he asked me a question where he said, um, sir, do you want to be an engineer or do you want to be a writer? And I say both. And he kind of like felt offended because of that. Anyway, today I want to talk about mentorship. That's why maybe I started with that story. It was not a coincidence that that is the case. So in most of the instances, in most of the cases, um, in my life, I had so many privileges. I don't want to lie to you. Obviously, I was born in a family of modest means. Mom works in the kitchens, and my dad was a bus driver. But you see, growing up, I had so much favor. I worked with like incredible people. I had opportunity to be mentored by one of the sharpest minds at that time, when I met the guy, he helped me to publish my first book titled Success is Psychological, which is a book that I've been working on for a very long time when I was still growing up in the village. Because this book, it's kind of like I was kind of like a revelation or a quest for trying to understand the world at large. And I didn't know that's going to change my life. I didn't plan to be an author. I didn't plan to write books. It was not something that I actually wanted to do. Just to give you a background story, for me, I've always been a creative person. I always wanted to come up with ideas. I wanted to come up with dialogues. I wanted to do cool stuff and all of that. So this idea that one day I'm going to write a book, I didn't think about it. And actually, even like the people that used to inspire me, like I've never been mentored by physical people, meaning like somebody that tells me what to do. And I don't like being told what to do to begin with, so it actually worked well for me. Um, Most of the people when I was growing up that used to mentor me from a distance, like I would listen to a show at Capricorn FM called The Sheltered Zone, which used to be I think around 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock by a guy called Bonkesh Balan. So those guys used to inspire me a lot. When they speak, like, I feel something, like I feel like goosebumps. Like I was never a radio person, but when I hear this guy speak, it kind of like sparked something in me. Let me just change the position of the mic. So I kind of like receive all my this inspiration like from distance, from people that I don't know. I'll read books from people that I don't know. I'll read magazines. I'll read all of this type of things that I'm reading and I'm doing. It's something that it's like I don't know. I'm not familiar with these things, but it's kind of like resonate with me, and I don't know why I chose the path that I chose at that particular moment. And so obviously when all this journey is building up, I'm writing a book and I got to Pretoria actually when I was supposed to be studying electrical engineering, which I did. But coincidentally, I don't know if there's such a thing, but I think God really prepared me that at that time, when I got to Pretoria, I had a book that I was working on, and I met a guy that will change my life for good. His name was Voder Kotsia, and he was a senior pastor at one of the churches that I attended. And so when I got there, I remember it was the first or the second Sunday, and he displayed the books that he wrote. I'm like, wow, like I kind of like mesmerized by the books. I was like, oh, I found someone that write books. I had to imagine like how does it feel to write a book? How does it feel for me to be able to be doing a book of my own one time? So obviously, I got to know him and I told him about my ideas about the book, and he was very generous. was very strict, but it was also very kind. So it kind of like told me that, okay, so these are the steps that you have to take. This is the process that I've taken myself. If you also want to publish a book, this is what you can do. And he introduced me to the publishers that will later help me to publish the book. And the rest is history. But there's something that people uh, don't want to face as the truth, and this is why I've created this video, which is this idea that you're not gonna find someone in life that is just designed to help you. I know people believe in these concepts of destiny helpers and all those. I'm not coming to dispute all of that, but what I'm trying to say to you is that you have to do the work. Like, no matter who mentors you, no matter what's in your life, no matter what happens, you kind of like need to take responsibility of your life. And this is kind of like one thing that is happening right now in the world. People are starting to take on this idea of believing in messiahs of everything. Messiah for justice, messiah for this, messiah as a president, messiah as a CEO. It's kind of like everyone needs this, believes in this like myth of messianic ideas, to say, for us to be able to be delivered from this, we need someone that can able to do it. People don't want to take responsibility of their lives, of their future, etc., etc. So the reality that I wanted to discuss with this video is that um, you have to work for yourself in the best way that you can. Nobody knows what you are meant to be in life, and nobody can guide you what you need to be. So you need to believe that what God wanted you to be has already buried that inside of you, and that God has given a creative force and the power inside of you to be able to be guided to where you need to be in life. And if you can just follow God, then you will not lose your journey and what you need to become in life. But unfortunately, people don't want to follow God. They don't want to be led by the Spirit of God. People want to be led by their ego. People want to be led by their creativity. People want to be led by this ideologist that believes that actually I am God, I am creative, I can able to do things by myself. And this is the reason why we've got so many problems right now in the world. Is because like people want to be at the center of their attention. They want to do all of this thing by themselves. But if you lived in Rome around the 1500s century or so, the Romans believed that if you were a brilliant mathematician, it was not because you know math by yourself. The gods of fortune has favored you with that ability. They never believed in themselves. And this idea will later become very important because I think this is kind of like the center of problems when it comes to mental health. That we always tell people that they can do it, that they can succeed, that everything is in their hands and all of this type of things. And people work so hard to be able to achieve things and they don't achieve them. So it's kind of like brings back the idea to say, what, everything is in my hand and now I feel to succeed and I've done everything that I can. What do I have to do next? So these are the ideas that we have to be careful for. But now, not me dragging along and moving along from the concept that I wanted to talk about, which is mentorship. So mentorship is very good, but you have to understand that you're not going to find a mentor. You're not going to find someone that will help you to achieve your dreams or your goal in life. You actually have to struggle to achieve your goals. You have to struggle to understand your voice, how you sing. You have to struggle to understand like what type of a player that you are if you're into football. You have to understand what type of music that you want to play if you are an instrumentalist. You understand? So it's kind of like those type of things that you have to struggle along. When you're young, you're not looking for a mentor to help you to find what is interesting. You will just try things. And this is the method that I want to encourage everyone to say, you know what? Instead of like spending years and years and years trying to get a perfect mentor, trying to get someone that can assist you to achieve your dreams, you have to take on this idea that you have things that you're interested in, you have things that you're doing. Obviously, at workplace you'll find some people that can assist you, people that can train you and all of this. But what I've learned in my life is that the things that becomes unique, the things that you become great at, it's something that you have to find out by yourself. Nobody's going to tell you that you are good at content creation. Nobody can tell you that you are funny, that you should consider being a comedian. No one is going to tell you that you're actually great at soccer, you should consider doing that. Nobody can tell you all this path that tend to change your life. It's path that nobody will ever tell you. Nobody has ever came to me and say that, you know what, the way you write, one day you're going to become a writer. Not even my classmates, not even like my teachers at school. Nobody has ever picked up the gifting of writing in my life. I had to struggle through. I have to listen to my own voice. I have to follow my calling. I have to just be guided by the Spirit of God inside of me that says, yes, you are a writer. You can able to write. You can able to take down these thoughts and make it to be something useful. And you can able to use your voice to be able to influence people in the most and the best possible way alive and available in the world. So this is one thing that I want to urge you guys, that stop reaching out to people on their DMs, stop asking people for favors. All of these things, you're just taking your time. It's like being an entrepreneur. You waste so much time trying to get funding and all of these things. And the most important thing that you have to do is to build the product and then you take it to the market. If people are interested, they will give you money, they will buy the product. But if you spend time on meetings, trying to convince the investors and etc or whatever, it's really not good for you. So that's the same mentality that I'm employing guys to say, stop this idea of saying you are not succeeding because you don't have a mentor. What will a mentor going to do anyway for you? You have to struggle through, you have to do your own things, you have to try to see how you fit in the world, you have to try to see what skills you should get, you have to try to see where you need to work, you have to try to see, do you have to move to another city, do you have to stay in your own hometown? All of this thing that you have to figure it out, you have to do that by yourself, and this things is not easy. This things is difficult. you know Unfortunately, now in the world, because of social media, you see someone playing guitar so easily, sorry, and you think that this person have been doing this, like, I don't know, for so many times. But these things are not easy, guys. Sorry about that. Let me do this. So, in summary, the most important thing that you need to do is that you have to trust yourself, and you have to use your actions as your mentors. You have to say, I'm going to do this, and then you get a feedback. I'm going to do this and get a feedback. So your feedback of your actions, that becomes the cornerstones of how your life is going to turn out to be. So guys, I know you need you need a mentor. You look at someone who's successful, you want to be mentored by them, you want to be around them, you want to hang around them. you know in one of the conversations or one of the seminars that I used to attend, they will say branding by association. So, which means that if you are seen with a person X who is so influential, people will think highly of you. But the problem about that is that, it's like if I can post with a Rolls Royce or with a jet, people know me. There are people who knows me. There are people who knows where I'm from. There are people who knows my reality. The only people that will be fooled by that is people that themselves, they are not in that level. But people who are already in that level, they will know that that is fake. You understand? Because they understand how you carry yourself when you're in a certain level. So, what I want to say to you guys, 2026 is coming. It's already here. You should have been preparing for it already. It's coming. It's going to come with its own challenges. It's going to come with its own opportunities. But the most important thing that you need to remember is that you do not need a mentor. You can actually be the person that you can be the person who acts every day as if like you have got a mentor. Think about it like that. If you can act every day as if you have got a mentor, let's see what happens. And you start tracking yourself down, starting to make yourself accountable, or you get an accountable partner. It's better than a mentor. I'm telling you, it's better than a mentor. Guys, that's all that I had to say for this segment and this particular video. See you on the next one. Cheers.